Ladies and gentlemen, Senoras, Senores y Senores, Mesdames et Messieurs, mind the man and herein to our fellow man, Cub and our loving proboscideans.
Let's get ready
for Elephant in the News.
Showtime!
Greetings everyone and welcome to Elephant in the News. Mr. Elephant is off today. I'm Dr. Raini, the creator, maker, writer, developer and inventor, the full ruling sovereign of this entire bloody channel.
So if that fat, wrinkly, furry, grey ass thinks he can push me aside or out-hear me, you a grey elephant she bitch son, oh it is so on. Like damn and curry and bloody Matt Lower. The difference is I will not accept any apology and there are no studio executives to stop me. Because as you seem to have suddenly forgotten, I'm the damn executive, the studio, the full owner of all of this. You elephant bitch.
Dear viewers, it is time for the Justin News segment.
Extra! Read all about it!
This Justin, ladies and gentlemen, on the HBO, the show Real Time, with Bill Maher, Democratic strategist, whatever the hell that is. James Carville was in attendance. You know, I have always seen this man on shows like Bill Maher and news networks, but I never even knew his name or why he is important. On the show's overtime segments, this wrinkly-looking Emperor Ming
Death to Ming!
expressed his views about the current House Speaker, Mike Johnson, for Emperor Ming Carville. Speaker Johnson is a danger beyond our fearful imaginations to our nation, because Emperor Ming Carville says Johnson is a Christian nationalist, which Emperor Ming Carville claims something far worse than the terrorist group Al-Qaeda, which will seem to lead us all to
certain death!
Please note, viewers, that House Speaker Johnson has made no public claim that he is a Christian nationalist. In fact, I never heard Republicans or Christians ever call themselves Christian nationalists or relate themselves to the term. But Speaker Johnson is worse than Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is the international terrorist group that attacked the United States embassies in 1998 in Kenya and Tanzania. Again in 2000 with the bombing of the US coal stationed in Yemen in 2000. And worse still, they will be the ones responsible under the leadership of Osama bin Laden for carrying out the September 11th terrorist attacks in the state of New York. Al-Qaeda, whose members believe that a Judeo-Christian alliance led by the United States is waging a war against Islam, with the result being the utter destruction of Islam. Is this hairless bitch high? Did the loss of hair mean the loss of several brain cells? I am just at a loss for words, truly. Upon looking up the term Christian nationalist, it seems to be created and used by the liberal left and Democrats whenever they hear any Republican speak proudly of their Christian faith and are a member of the Republican Party. Seriously, these demi-libs are like obsessed with playing Scrabble, especially when they make up new words. Then argue with you for an hour whether or not the word is real or not. Also, they can count it and pick up a triple word score. According to the Washington Post, a Christian nationalist is a, quote, someone who believes that the United States is a Christian nation and does not believe in the separation of church and state. Really? As stated before, the term Christian nationalist, along with other terms such as far-right or right-wing, is so commonly used by leftists and Democrats that even Bill Maher has made the same argument as James Carville regarding Speaker Johnson, quote, exactly sounds like bin Laden. I wonder if these two have a glimpse at what is happening on TikTok and how the young liberal leftists are praising, oh yes, are praising Osama bin Laden.
I need you to stop what you're doing and go read A Letter to America.
The actions of 9/11 and those acts committed against the USA and its people were all just a buildup of our government failing other nations.
Against alleged US imperialism. But it was in fact written by the world's most infamous terrorist. Millions of young liberal Americans took to TikTok last week to watch videos praising Osama bin Laden's letter to America penned in 2002 to justify 9/11. The TikTokers said the Al-Qaeda mastermind's 8-page diatribe had turned their world upside down and sparked an existential crisis, while others added simply, he was right. All seemingly in aid of their view that the United States should end its full-throated support for Israel in its war against Hamas. But why and how did supposedly liberal-minded Americans get taken in by a terrorist?
Maher further commented, quoting Mike, "If you don't know that the Pilgrims came here to escape from the Church of England, then you don't know, literally, the first thing about our country." Yes, I do agree, Mr. Maher. They came to the United States to religious persecution from the Church of England. They established the Plymouth Colony in 1620, where they erected congregational churches to practice their faith freely. They came here to escape religious persecution, not to escape their practice of faith. Marty continues by saying, Mike says, "Being a Christian nation is our tradition, and it's who we are as a people. It's not. We are the people with the First Amendment, which says Congress shall make no law in establishment of religion." Yes, I agree, Mr. Maher. The Establishment Clause, as it is legally known, was made so that the federal government, let me say that again, federal government did not establish a single national Christian denominational religious institution like England did with the Church of England. England had sent to the 13 colonies various people from various Protestant faiths. They would settle in various places throughout the region. But to say that never was the Christian religion established in the United States, I'm sorry, but the historical facts are strongly against you, Mr. Maher, as many states did establish religions in their territories, as many of these states were settled by various religious Protestant faiths, as I have just mentioned. True, there was not a single federal religion, but numerous state religions were established in their state charters and later in their state constitutions. In the southern states colonies, they established religion by state law for the Church of England or the Anglican faith. New England established the religion of Puritanism. The state of Massachusetts established the Pilgrim religion, which is also known as Congregationalist, and the state of Utah established the Mormon religion. In the colonies, the clergy were appointed and disciplined by colonial authorities. All colonists were required to pay religious taxes and attend church services. Those who refused to pay and attend church or preached without a state license were punished, which ranged from a fine being put into the public stockade or imprisonment. It would not be until the 1940s, when both Congress and the Supreme Court in Everson v. Board of Education 1945, that states began to end their state establishment religious clauses by extending the Federal Establishment Clause upon the states. But even today, the Supreme Court of Congress has refused to flat out make a rigid and absolutist line under the concept of separation of church and state in our nation. Thus, Congress has made no law saying our nation follows the doctrine of separation of church and state, nor has it been amended into our national constitution. Recently, the Supreme Court has blurred the lines of the ideology of separation of church and state, which many wrongly assume our nation to be undone. In Carson v. Making Tories 21, the court ruled that a state must fund religious activity as part of an educational program. And in Kennedy v. Bremerton School District 2021, the court ruled in favor of the public school football coach who prayed with his players, ignoring the old case law that banned public school officials from participating in prayer with students. Mayer then cites Article 6 of the Constitution that states no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification for any office. This is too funny. Oh, Billy, you do see the stupid comedy in your disliking of the House Speaker as him as a national threat and someone incapable of holding the office of House Speaker because of his religious affiliation. Let us not also forget, Billy, that what is also in the First Amendment is the right to freedom of religion and freedom of expression of that religion. In reading these clauses, you can see that those who made these laws were indeed very religious people who had experienced harsh religious persecution. And they tried as best they could to enshrine into law by way of the Constitution to prevent religious persecution from occurring. No non-Christian person has no faith would set up this issue of religion in the Constitution in such a particular way. Furthermore, you have to ask yourself, not only why on earth the issue of religion is even discussed in the Constitution, but also why a non-believer would ever bother adding freedom of religion and freedom of expression of religion in the Constitution if they have no affiliation with religion to begin with. To Bill Mayer and other atheists, you seem to forget or refuse even to acknowledge that the West is Christendom, including the Americas and the Caribbean. As those of the Christian faith left Europe and ventured out to the New World, including the United States, was founded and developed on Christian morals and ideals, Oddly so, the term Christian nationalist is an oxymoron unto itself. For Christians, it is never to abandon their faith in their nation. As St. Thomas Aquinas states, if one is faced with both a moral and social issue that contrast each other, one must always take the moral stance. Never is the state to be seen as a replacement for God or the faith. One may love their nation and work for its betterment, but never is the nation above one's faith. It is God, then your nation. Never is it God and nation, or nation, then God. Here's a question, my fellow viewers. Try and ask liberals or anyone who thinks Trump will be a dictator. Why would he become a dictator if, by definition, Republicans are for limited government? It is far more likely for the Democratic Party, which is for more government, to lead into the ideology of Nazis and fascism as well as communist and socialist, as these ideologies require and implement the full entire force of government's rule and control in every aspect of society. They become their ruling bureaucracy. I would argue that, today, at this very moment, the Democratic Party alone is more dangerous than the Republican Party in falling into a dictatorship or tyrannical government, as the party currently backs and has run as presidential candidate Bernie Sanders, who very loudly and proudly claims to be a socialist Democrat. And let's not forget how democratic and liberal college students have expressed their own love and want for socialism and communism madly.
Someone very profoundly once said, many years ago, that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism. And what is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation. Well, isn't this the liberal philosophy? The conservative, so-called, is the one that says, less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
So I ask then, dear viewers, ask those who say Trump will lead to a tyrannical government if such dictating governments have to be big. So why or how will Trump, or any Republican for that matter, become a government of dictatorship if they are for less government? This was a bit of a long clip, so I truly thank you for staying and listening. Thank you for taking time from your day to be with us here at Elephant in Dial News. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Till next time, viewers, please stay safe, be good, and take care of one another.